Hello, 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 everyone. It would help if I unmuted the mic, wouldn't it? How's everybody going? You're so welcome to join us tonight on Taiwan Live TV. Hopefully, your favorite or one of your favorite live streamers. Yeah, I got my thing in the way here. It never ceases to amaze me. I'll set up for a broadcast and I'll get all ready, and then I'll notice oh, there's something here in the corner. What is that? This is I don't know. It's like, you know what it is? Oh no, it's a wrinkle. It's a wrinkle in the green screen. Oh, and now it's all torn up. Anyway, want to say hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm just a mess tonight. Tonight's broadcast is sponsored by JTS. Once again, I still have the JS1P. It's an unbelievable USB mic. I just have the pop filter on it, but I'm operating the same way. I have my earphones connected into the microphone. I'm using the microphone for USB audio capture and also monitoring on the way back. Also want to introduce everyone to our newest website, livestreaming.technology. It's a brand new forum. It's about a month old. We're having a bit of an issue getting things going with it, but just because it's brand new. So, excuse me. This is funny. This is telling me that I have to, this is really strange. It's telling me that I have to look at, within Prism, I got to look at the chat. It says view on web. So let me, just for the fun of it, I'm going to go to the web because, yeah, see, Matthew says good evening. And David Osaka says good evening. Hey, guys, I'm so glad to see you, but oh no, the chat's not working. Hang on, let me try this again. Let me try to reset the chat. All right, look. This happened the last time, remember? Occasionally there is a failure with, I'm going to add Prism Chat 2, and I'm going to do this one. And I'm just going to stick it over here and see what it does. Oh my goodness. Yeah, if I have to view this on YouTube at the same time, then yeah, it's going to be a problem. But anyway, listen. Anyway, I'll go ahead and I'll look at the chat on YouTube and just I'll just make it work somehow. What I can do is I can put that app over to there. There you go. Oh no, actually, what I can do is I can just do like that. All right. Actually, Dave, listen, I'm really glad you're here because Dave and I got in a discussion the other day about vaccines, and I didn't really get a chance to get into it with him too much. This is all tied in to what's going on in Taiwan. The United States gave us 750,000 doses, and Japan, oh, I'm ashamed of myself. I should know this. Japan gave us, if I'm not mistaken, even more. So, you find out who your friends are. And oh, hello, Jan. How are you? Nice to have you with us. I'm so upset that the chat box is not working and it's not burning on the stream. That has been kind of like a trademark thing, that I have been doing since day one. And I just, I don't know. It just says add chat source. Yeah, see, I've added 2 chat sources already. I don't know what to tell you. And this is at the top. It's visible. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. We'll just deal with it. But what it comes down to is Dave asked me yesterday, hey, Bernardo, how you doing? Fist bump to you. Yeah, was it yesterday or the day before? I forget. Dave asked me, because I'm showing some reluctance about the vaccine, and I'm going to tell you, I'm not an anti-vax or anything like that because I get vaccines, before I've had hepatitis, shots here, and I get the flu shot, and there's a pneumonia shot they have too that I'm getting ready to take. It's just that I'm a dad and I'm a husband, and I really got to be careful what I do. I'm 65 years old, and if I got sick or something from it, but on the other hand, you can get sick from the virus. It's a lot to consider, and so it also looks like we're still, like, for me, I'm after the first line, after the police, after the firefighters and the frontline hospital workers. I'm one of the first citizens because I'm 65 and over, right? But it still looks like I'm not even going to be able to make a choice until June. So I'm still working on it and researching it, And what I would like to know, everybody in here, Matthew and Dave, Jan, and Bernardo, and I know, like, in the late night group, we've got Rob and Ken and Jasper and many others who have experience with the vaccines that I don't have, because we don't have them. We just don't have enough. So I'd like to know what your experiences are with it. It would actually help me a lot. I'm kind of leaning towards the Taiwan produced vaccines, because Taiwan is known for super high quality stuff, and that's what I'm leaning at. But let me show you today what we had, and I want to talk about something because an article came out today that I want to address. And this is Mr. Chen Zedong, and he is the commander of the Central Epidemic Command Center. And today's COVID-19 numbers, you can see at the top, it says 335, and what that says basically in English, it's like the public in-country transmission. It's an announcement. It's 335, and the next word is case. It's right. That'd be 335 li, as we say in Chinese, for case of COVID-19. Now, if you look below that, you see the number 8. 8 is the backlog. Total would be 355 new cases for today, but it's 335, including 8. So, no, I'm sorry. It's 343 plus 8, and that equals 335. So it went down today by a little bit, but it still shows that the curve is not completely out of control. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's not going completely, like, off the charts, out of control. And so anyway, we had a typhoon, but it turned out to be not much, because it was just a tropical storm, and the tropical storm ended up not being much of anything. So anyway, here's what happened today, and this kind of irritated me a little bit, and I'm going to take a little hit. And it's so nice to see all you guys, and I'm really sorry that the comments aren't burning. I got to talk to Prism and see why, because we did have a failure before. Sometimes their chat server crashes, but anyway, there's no way that I am aware of that I could get. Well, you know what I did a long time ago? On one of the other live streaming platforms that has, like YouTube, a stream of chat beside it, I made a web box and just cropped everything out except that. And then I chroma keyed on the background, and I was actually successfully able to make it transparent, where you could only see the the letters. I could do that. It would take me about maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes to make that happen. So, hey, Taiwan tourist guide, we're gonna fist bump to you. Say hi to you. That's my friend Lisa and her husband Jojo, and her daughter, which I'm not gonna name because of privacy laws in Taiwan. But how you guys doing? So what happened today? There's a guy named Hiliton Yip, And I don't think he's Taiwanese because Yip, I think, is a Malaysian name. But anyway, Mr. Yip has written this article, and the article you can search it. I'm not gonna show it. It's a paywall, so I'm not gonna show it on the screen. But Mr. Yip said that Taiwan's overconfidence, the government's overconfidence, has caused crisis after crisis. Now, you guys have known me for a long time, and you know I'm not political, so I don't take political platforms and I take political sides. But I do want to say that I think that it's unfair to say that Taiwan government has been overconfident. From the beginning, the whole purpose of Taiwan's management strategy was to use all, the years of experience that they had dealing with, all the way back to SARS, which I was here, in 2003, all the way to now, to manage the disease until vaccines could be produced. And that was it. They never said, oh, we can keep it out forever. They just said, we're trying to hold the fort down until vaccines can be produced. Now, I need to show you a couple of things by comparison, and I want you in your own mind to answer the question, do you think that the government's been overconfident? Have they been too cocky, or have they done anything wrong? What I want you to look at is this. What is this? Okay, this is an overview right now of the USA's numbers. Okay, so you got 33 million, cases, and they've had almost 300 million doses of vaccine administered. That's really good. So basically what it amounts to is everyone in the United States that wants a vaccine can have one now. All right, now the chart on the right-hand side, let's blow this up, okay? Let's look at this closely, because what this shows here is that towards November and through December, there was a marked increase in daily cases in red. There's a corresponding, look at the middle graph is deaths, and that's almost identical, okay? And unfortunately. And then you look at the bottom and you see that they really started to get hot on the vaccinations just after January 1st, right? So there's a change of government, a new administration came in, and the timing was in January, but really around February, you can see, because you can see where it says 2021 at the bottom, and it says March. So halfway in between would be February. And that's when they really started getting hot on this. And you look to where it says May, by May, they've done 250 million vaccinations by May. Now, let me show you the Taiwan numbers, okay? And I want you to just judge for yourself here. Now, these are the Taiwan numbers here. Now, Taiwan has 10,000, almost 11,000 cases. We had 224 deaths, and we've had 678,000 doses of vaccine. Taiwan is a country that has roughly the same population as Australia. So we got just under 24 million people. Now, as contrast, I want you to think about this. What kind of a job has the Taiwan government actually done for keeping Taiwan COVID free? Are you ready to be freaked out by this? Look at this. Daily cases, that top number, ladies and gentlemen, is 800. Look, in March, they had a little spike. Okay, the first number on the graduated scale is 200. So what is that, like 80? Then there was a little activity in July and then some in November, and nothing happened really until, look at the end on the far right in red, nothing happened until the middle of May, okay? Because this chart goes up into June. Okay, so if you look again, I'm going to show you this one more time. If you look again at this, look at the green line, okay? You see where they started giving people the jab? Keep your eye on that green line and look at this. If Taiwan had had access to vaccines at the same time the United States had, we never would have had the local outbreak that we have. It would have been eliminated. So I read this article by Hiliton Yip, and I just thought it was like low-hanging fruit. I just thought it was a cheap shot at Taiwan, because I got to tell you, another article came out that said that you are over 3,000 times less likely to die from COVID-19 in Taiwan. And I was like, wow, this turned out to be the safest place. And even so, even though we have local transmission, the most local transmission per day has been under 800 cases a day. There are cities, there are towns, there are villages that have more than that per day. Got my famous, yeah. So I just want to know what you guys think of all this. I think Taiwan has done a really, really good job. And I personally would like to thank the governments of the United States and Japan for sending us vaccines. But the other thing you got to understand is one of the criticisms is on the low vaccine rollout in Taiwan. Now, it's not because people here are reluctant to take them. It's because we don't have them. I keep up with this. There was a deal with a German pharmaceutical company that was squashed. Some other country intervened. So I'll give you 3 guesses who that was. And quite frankly, the first 2 guesses don't count. So we have somebody that wants to say hi to everybody, and we'll be right back after this.
This is George from JTS Taiwan. You are watching the Late Night with MJ Klein.
Yeah, and that is George, our representative from JTS. He's the man that supplied me with the JS1P microphone, and I've got a new one down here that I'm going to show you in a few minutes, because we are in Taiwan and everybody loves karaoke. Yeah, he was. I know what you're saying, Dave, and you do this with me too, and we do it with each other, because we can have a healthy discussion without getting angry. But he said some other things too. One of the crises was about, we can talk about this, the power crisis that we've had recently in Taiwan with the rolling outages. Depending on what area you're in, they'll cut your power off for a little while instead of cutting the power nationwide. And he criticized Tsai's government for running out of power, and again, not taking sides politically, but just pointing out the facts. She ran on a platform of no nukes, and she got elected twice. So I guess the people want that. So it's like, you can't go and say, oh, well, they should have nukes. You can't tell people that, because it just, I don't get involved in politics. I don't vote. I don't care. I just sit on the side and laugh, but I know what's going on. I try to keep up with it just to know what's going on. So if anything, though, there is one thing, though, Dave, that's for certain, and that is that the Taiwan people, ourselves, me included, have been a little cocky. And you guys have all seen me do live streams like 6 months ago and last year, and I, no lockdown and stuff. So, hey, George Koo, that's the man right there, George. George, our comments are not burning tonight, but I can see him. I'm looking in the window. That was George. He's the JTS rep, and George, I'm just going to tell you publicly, okay, just right now on the live stream, you're going to have to call the police. because I'm not giving you this microphone back. Okay, that's it. I'm just that's not going to happen. Okay, I welded it on here. I used, the Dian Han, right? I welded the microphone onto the stand so it can never come off. Okay, and it'll only come off when I get the pink one, because I really want the pink one. He's laughing. I'm serious. He's the pink one. But Dave, I know what you mean about playing devil's advocate, and it's a good idea. It really is to look at the different aspects. And like I said, I'm one of them who would sit here and go, when we don't have lockdown, I don't know what that's like. But today I took a walk to the High Life to buy some soda for my rum, and I got winded. I'm like, what is going on? I have a 4-story house. I run up and down the stairs all the time. I ride my bike every day. I can ride to Shinpeng. I can ride to Yong'an. I've done it before. It's normal. You don't get as much exercise when you're locked down. Now, behind the green screen, the second half of the studio is an exercise room, and I got no excuse except lazy. I've just been lazy. All right, so, we're talking about that and the COVID response, and I just wanted to show you guys what the actual number was. And I am going to say this, in defense of my country, Taiwan, where I live, I will say this. I think, it's my opinion, that the leader of the free world at the time was overconfident and a little bit narcissistic. I heard comments like, "It's just a cold, I'll get over it, I'll go play golf." And it took a lot of countries a long time to respond, because many of them didn't believe that this was happening. See, there's something that I've said many times before. Taiwan does not make disaster films. You won't find films like, The Towering Inferno, or Volcano, or Landslide, or Earthquake, or Tsunami, or Outbreak, or Virus, because that's what happens here. This stuff happens all the time. We have a typhoon come in, and 20 meters of water will land on a mountain, and because of all the binglong trees and the short roots, like Morakot, 2 villages disappeared, gone. 2,000 people, don't know where they are. They're under the earth somewhere. It's kind of like, Korah and Moses, the ground parted, right? So we don't make disaster movies here. We make comedies, and we make, love stories and feel good things and stuff, with emotional content. Like this movie that came out recently, Listen Before You Sing. It was absolutely wonderful, about Aboriginal school and how they were competing in a competition for singing, right? It was an amazing film. And right now on YouTube, the Taiwan Film and Audiovisual Institute is releasing some digitally restored vintage films from the 60s, and they're absolutely fantastic. But it's America that makes movies like, 2012, and they made a movie called Virus. They made another one called Outbreak, because those things have never happened there before. And America is so big that, quite frankly, if California broke off and floated away up in Maine, they would go, "Hey, did you feel something?" "Yeah, I don't know. What is it?" "I don't know. Let's go hunting." It's so big that a lot of stuff that goes on doesn't matter. Now, Yellowstone can blow up, and in Florida, they'd say, "Let's go fishing," because it's like that. But in Taiwan, it's not. It's all small, and it affects everybody dramatically. Even, some relatively small disaster in the southern part of the island really it demoralizes people, all over. And so in December, when the authorities, in December of 2019, the authorities in Taiwan heard on social media that there was a new strange pneumonia-like disease in Wuhan. They sent, in the first week of January, they sent 2 experts there. And they deduced right away there's human-to-human transmission. They said it was just common sense. And they came back. And the next week, Taiwan locked down the borders. As the beginning, everybody said, "Oh, you're xenophobic or whatever." And they just go, "Well, we know what we're doing. This isn't our first rodeo. We don't make disaster films because everything is a disaster for real. And what happened was when this stuff started going on in the United States, I think people were just thinking that can never happen. That can never happen here. And you hear that a lot. And I used to hear that when I lived in the States. Oh, that could never happen here. Well, you know what? It can happen anywhere. And so like I said, in defense of the country, I'm very pleased with how things are being handled. And generally speaking, of course, I wouldn't personally anyway, but generally speaking, Taiwanese people don't really protest or anything like that. I mean, sometimes, but, and this gentleman that I showed early, Mr. Chen, the commander, he has a very, very super high rating for, his popularity. Okay. So it's really, really important. All right, let me do this. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'm going to be right back after this.
This is George from JTS Taiwan. You are watching the Late Night with MJ Klein. Hi, this is George from Taiwan, JTS. You are watching the Late Night with MJ Klein.
Hi, this is Dave in Osaka, live from Greenland, and you're watching Taiwan Live TV with MJ Klein.
Thanks so much, guys. That was great. Excuse me. Now, this is live TV. I don't have anything really set up, but I got this cool little box. I mean, look at this. This is an aluminum box. This could be anything important. Could be something really special, and it is. And you see that it says JTS on it. Okay. And so George is with us tonight, and I showed both of George's bumpers that he made for me. And the thing that George did was he made it with actually what I want to do is hang on. I don't think I did this. Hang on. I got to check one thing. Bear with me. Did I do that? I'm looking for something. Did I do that or did I not? No, because I'm stupid. Okay, I put it on the website. I put it on livestreaming.technology. But this beautiful case inside, oh, that's the top. I got to make sure I don't open it upside down or I'll be busting it. This contains something very interesting. It contains a rubber duck antenna. It contains a 1/4-inch tip sleeve transmitter, excuse me, receiver. And what's the receiver for? The receiver is for, you guys know me, I love colors. The receiver is for the coolest orange colored karaoke mic that you'll ever see. And it's called the Go-Go Song. Now, I don't name these, but I'm going to tell you, I'm an old guy. I was born in the 50s and I grew up in the 60s, and I remember Go-Go, Go-Go Girls. And I think Go-Go Song is like, that's the coolest name for it, man. Now, it's got a protective removable cover, but you can also put it back. So what I usually do is I just take this little plastic cover off like this, and I just stick it on the back, to just to keep it there, right? But the interesting thing about this mic is I'm going to do a review of this and I'm going to show you more about it. But it has a beautiful display. I'm going to move the mic here. It has a beautiful display, but the display is not a touch screen. It's what we call a rocker panel. In other words, when you press it, you can hear it. You actually have to press the screen, and the screen rocks in order to make the switches work. So at the bottom right here, here's the power switch right here. So we're going to hold this and we're going to turn this puppy on.
进入蓝牙模式，等待配对。
Okay, so what it's telling me that it's in
蓝牙已连接。
it's in Bluetooth mode, ready to pair, and it's connected. Okay, so the language is in Chinese. So basically, this is called the H88. Now, with the controls, you've got like an array of controls. First of all, you press this, it's a rocker, so you actually physically press it down and it makes it click. That can mute the mic. You can go external or external, and this is a transmitter, so this is a wireless mic, so whatever comes out of here goes into that thing, so you can put it into like your home system or a big PA system. And so like they got like, it says treble and bass, and you've got echo and so forth. So like, for example, if you look at like the treble, if you press this button, in Chinese it says treble, then you get a range, and then you can just press these buttons for more treble or more bass. So you can so you get like a one, and then more treble. So 9 is the max, and then bass. And bass is on 5, so if you want like more bass and see, it gets considerably bassier, and then you can go like this and turn the bass down. And I'm sure with this condenser mic you can hear the difference. So there's also there are also settings for things like echo, and also there's an auxiliary in too, which is pretty interesting. Now, I have yet to test the to test the receiver, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to test the receiver very, very soon. Now, there are quite a number of karaoke apps in the world, especially in Taiwan. But if you use just YouTube and you search on karaoke, and you search on like just about almost any song that you can think of, right? It'll come out, and it's like it's amazing how much of these songs that you can find. And so basically, with nothing more than a mobile phone and this mic with the echo on it, it's like it's a party, man. And people don't realize how much we do this in Taiwan. You sit around and the mic's in stereo. The road is long with many wind and turn that leads up to who knows where. You can turn it around to show them. But I'm strong enough to carry him. You ready for that copyright strike? He ain't heavy. He's my brother. Anyway, so before the pandemic broke out, it was very common to just go to some place and find these kind of mics. Now, I have a Q7, and I forget who makes it. It's kind of a plastic kind of piece of junk. And I would, obviously you don't want to drop anything, but this microphone is a lot different because first of all, on the side, this is all metal, or it's either metal or I haven't tried a magnet on it, or a very, very dense plastic. And I suspect that the windscreen is also metal. And everything is held together. See, with the other mics, you can always unscrew them. This guy, you can't unscrew them the way that they're internally assembled. And there's also a headphone jack out here, which means that except for your voice being audible in a room, you could plug your headphones directly into here. And if you got a nice set of studio headphones, these are JTS headphones, by the way. Real studio headphones. You plug these guys in, and you can end up being able to really practice your vocals. And for somebody like me, who's a songwriter, I write my own stuff and I record and engineer my own things here in my own studio. For me to make some like background tracks just to get a workout on vocals it's really quite, it's easy to do. And like just a few minutes ago, I used the phone to adjust the level of the music, but you also have independent control of that. And you've got independent control of the microphone level too. So like, it goes all the way up to 33. So the mic is actually quite loud. And if I turn this, way down, then you see it's considerably less. But anyway, there's a lot of things that you can do with this mic, and I can't wait until they've got the production version ready. But I mean, this orange, guys, can you believe that orange? I mean, really, look at this. And look at my Taiwan Live TV logo. I mean, do you think I like orange? I love orange. Orange is like one of my favorite colors. I want the orange GTR. So we haven't had any comments for a while. Are we still live here? Are we still live? I'm going to refresh this and see. We haven't had any comments for a few minutes. I just want to make sure that everything is still cool here. Yep. Okay. Looks like we're good. I'm just going to say hi here. I'm going to use my personal account and just say hi and see what happens. Okay. Well, looks like we're there. I'm really disappointed though that the comments are not working. So look for a review of this. What I'm going to do is, because we got that typhoon, when the typhoon leaves, and really good mute switch on this. When the typhoon leaves completely and we get back to normal weather, I'm going to set my sound system up on the roof, and I'm going to put this thing in a mic stand and plug the receiver in upstairs to my my sound system and blast it for the neighborhood and just see what happens. Of course, I'll just have to make sure that I'm singing pretty well. I'm singing terrible now. I have been getting like ridiculously low amounts of sleep. I've been having my sleep disorders bother me again. So once again, the mic, the H88, it comes with a configurable receiver, and the receiver has channels. So, it's multi-channel. So if you're in an area and you're getting interference, just switch to another channel. And it's got, a standard RF connector like most PCs do. And it's got, an adjustable stick on it, right? So you can adjust it however you want. And I think that's a great product. I've never seen anything like that. But that's what JTS does. And JTS comes out with these great products, these amazing products that are just so cost effective and so ridiculously cheap. Like my favorite mic that I've shown you guys before, and I love this. This is their JS1 tube. It's a 2 preamp mic, and this little red plastic window here glows red when you turn the mic on. See, if I plug the power supply into the mic, and I turn the power supply on, you'll see it start to glow red. Yep, see it? It's glowing red. That is so cool. That lets you know that there's a tube in there. And so I'll turn it off and you'll see it go dark. There you go. Just little touches like that. This mic comes with a beautiful spider shock mount, and it is also die-cast zinc aluminum alloy, and it has a 10 dB pad on one side, and it also has I think it's an 80 hertz roll off, for rumble filters. So it is really something. And I just love this mic. I use it for everything. I use it for acoustic guitars and vocals. But speaking of which, before George has to call the cops and get this microphone back for me, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to do a Reaper. That's a digital audio workstation. I'm going to do a Reaper DAW session with this. And I'm going to use Reaper, and I'm going to go ahead and try to record some acoustic guitar. And I'm just going to do it like in the bedroom downstairs, just to prove that, like, for example, if you've got a portable computer like a notebook, I've got a Surface Pro, which is just like a Core i5 with 8 gigs. Nothing special, you know. And so what I want to do is plug this USB mic into it, because it has the ability right off the side of the mic to do monitoring. So I can just use the master bus on Reaper and attenuate it, you know, with a plug-in to get the proper input volume. But I am going to try to record some guitar tracks. And when I get these, guitar tracks recorded and sounding the way that I want them to sound, I'm going to make a mix of it. I'm going to show you guys what it sounds like, because you really don't know how cool this mic sounds, you know, until you do something like that. So, all right, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Thank you.
Welcome here from the top of Europe, and you're watching Taiwan Live with MJ Klein.
Hi, this is Rob Ebner, and you're watching Late Night with MJ Klein.
Hello, my name is Ken Rod, and you're watching Late Night with MJ Klein.
Hello, my name is Coco, also known as Val, and I live in North Carolina. Yes, I am in the Carolinas. And I just want to welcome you because you are on Late Night with MJ Klein.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Coco. And Dave and Casper and Ken and George and everyone else that has so graciously given me these bumpers. It's fantastic. And so what I'm going to do is I'm using the Win-Win. You know, this is bugging me. This is really bugging me. Don't you hate when this stuff happens? I can fill it in. You know what it is? Because this is a recording studio, I have a mass dampener behind me. I have a big, thick curtain that's designed to stop reflections, and I have the green screen in front of it, and the way they're both hung on the same bar. There's a pipe across the top here. I got some pipe infrastructure up here for hanging different things that I need in the studio to change the acoustic space. And so sometimes the thick pad behind the green screen, well, the green screen kind of goes around the edge of it and just makes a little pocket. So, but this here, right here, this is one of the computer screens. So if I do that, I think, gosh, I think we're good. So let's talk about this just for a moment. Live streaming technology. This is a site that I started, I don't know. Last month, I guess. Yeah. In the middle of, the middle of May. So anyway, I designed it to be it's supposed to be a forum where people can discuss different aspects of live streaming, and also, for example, content creators, if they want to, share some tips or learn things, from others that have more experience. And I always like to set these things up. Everything that I do pretty much is information based. I've been an information entrepreneur for most of my life and have always, shared information with people and tried to help people, advance their game on different things. And so it's taking time to take off, but it is starting to work. We have a remarkable number of guests. In any 24-hour period, we'll have 50, 60 guests, but we'll only have 2 or 3 people that are actually participating. So what I'm saying is we need your participation if we can, and if we can get your input, it'll make the space a lot better for everybody. So what I've been doing is things that I run across, like Nick Nimmin put out a video not too long ago regarding the new YouTube terms of service. And he did a video called 4 Things That Can Get Your YouTube Channel Canceled. And so I made a post for that, and I embedded his YouTube video right in the post, right in the forum. See, that's the cool thing about this forum is you can watch videos right within it. Like, for example, later on, when this live stream goes to YouTube and it's finished processing, it'll be available in my forum on livestreaming.technology. But I made this post about 4 things that can get your YouTube channel canceled. Now, I thought that would be like a really hot topic. I thought that everybody that live streams or does video productions on YouTube would say, wow, I need to see that video. 4 people have viewed it. So you never know. Some people don't take it seriously, and that's okay. And others do. But I'm convinced that it is definitely going to become, over time, it's going to take probably at least the first year. But I'm also a moderator over the Tascam forums, and Tascam forums has 10,000 members, and they've been around for more than 10 years. And I also own and operate the Behringer-based Behringer.world forums. It's kind of an alternative. It's the unofficial Behringer forums where we can discuss things that you could not discuss on the official forums, like how to hack things. Because I got a Behringer console, and a lot of the guys have Behringer consoles, and they're hacking them and doing things. They're opening them up and they're making modifications and things. You just can't do that on the official forums. People, they go, the official line is, you do that and you will void your warranty, and we can't take responsibility for it and all that too. But on the other hand, Fei, how you doing? Nice to have you with us. Fist bump. But on the other hand, they also don't want you to know certain things. Like, we're discovering things about the internal Dante networking cards. That's Dante audio. See, like in my studio, I don't use USB connections with my PC for recording. Everything is on the Dante audio network, which is on Ethernet. So, Jaspy, how are you? And I was going to ask you, we haven't heard from you since you bought your Smooth 4 from Xeon. That's a gimbal from Xeon. I happen to have my DJI OM4 gimbal that I just bought about 3 weeks ago, and it did not come with a case. But I asked the girl at the store that I always go to, this is somebody that I've been, doing business with for years, do you have a case? And she said, yes, this is a Lingwida outside case, not made by DJI. But this case was $10. I'm going to hold it in. But it fits it like a glove. I mean, look at that. And, I haven't showed you guys this. I just showed pictures in my late night line group that I have for my followers. I showed you this stuff already. But I actually bought, for my gimbal, I bought a silicone rubber sleeve for the handle. And it's cut out for all the buttons. It's cut out for the zoom. It's cut out for the USB ports, both the C for charging and the A, and I gotta tell you, it's nice. It's it is cool. It is cool. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, really? In 3 weeks? Oh. Sounds to me like you're going on some kind of a work trip, right? Yeah. But this is cool. It's a nice case. It's a plushie. And of course this gimbal comes with a tripod, which my Xeon didn't. But one thing I like about it is up on the top, I've got this little zippered case and I got a bunch of junk and I got my little vanity lights. I can clip myself, clip a light on for selfies if I want. But this silicone thing is nice because it keeps skin oil off and you can still press the trigger and get everything. And it's nice. It's cool. It literally is, temperature wise, is cool. Because I noticed when I was out shooting with Phoenix in the hot sun, it felt really grippy because it's silicone. It's soft. And of course I wouldn't want to drop it, but I'm going to tell you, I would rather drop it with this thing on it than not. And of course there's a hole in the bottom for the, the tripod thread. Then I can still thread the lanyard through it. Of course, this gimbal, the main feature is the magnetic mount, which pops off and it's keyed. If you look at the top, it says DJI and there's a key there. And if you look on the receptacle up on the top where it says DJI, there's a receptacle on it too at the top. See the key? And so basically you go like this and you can line them up because there's a white dot there. See the white dot? But if you know that if it's not off, you know it right away because it doesn't sit. But this thing has a lot of power. And so this works really nice for me. And there's a couple of features about it. There's a key slot in here. You have to turn this thing a certain way so it all fits together like this. You have to turn this way and this way. So. Oh, you're about to pull the trigger on this, but the Xeon, I know what you mean. The Xeon, I've got 2 other Xeons. I like Xeon. The reason I got this, Jaspy, is because this is the first phone that I had that has multiple cameras, okay? And with my Smooth 4, the Smooth 4 is a heck of a machine. It's a strong machine. It's a very stable, very smooth gimbal. But the problem is with my wide angle lens, I can see the motor because it's sticking out like, it sticks out about this far from the phone, right? Now, there's a design flaw on the Xiaomi 9T Pro, and I'll tell you what it is. That is the 48 megapixel camera, and then they've got the 2x optical. Then they've got what they call the wide, then the ultra wide. And the thing is the ultra wide is closest to the center of the phone. The ultra wide should always be further away from the phone. That's why the iPhone works, because it's got the cluster in the corner and it's far away. But even with this gimbal, if I mount it so the clip, let me get this out. I'll just show you what I mean. If I mount this thing, how they recommend it, with the clip in the center of the phone, I'm going to leave the case on because I don't care. I guess I can't. If I mount it with the clip in the recommended spot, which is the dead center of the phone, which actually assumes that the center line of the phone is the center of gravity, and that may or may not be true. But if I mount it like this in the center of the phone, okay, this camera, let's see if I can get an angle on this. Yeah, this camera right here next to the LED flash, this camera is so close to this motor that I can see the motor. I can see the motor. Okay. So this motor, right? Let me just turn this thing on and I'll show you what I mean. Okay. The camera is so close that what I have to do is I have to move the phone this way. And it's off balance. So I have a set of counterweights to weight it. Now that is interesting. What you said of the Samsung, yeah, it is close, right? But see, the Samsung S21 Jaspy's a rich lady. Okay, she's single. She's good looking. She speaks 2 languages of Chinese and English. So you guys, I'm just telling you, I'm just trying to help you guys out, okay? She's got the S21. So the thing is, right, is the way the S21 is located, if I'm not mistaken, I think the wide angle lens is at the other end, right? I mean, all the cameras on your phone are like towards the end, right? So that makes sense. Of course, my phone case dropped on the floor, so I'm not going to get it now. Yeah, this is the first foray. You can see it better this way. The first foray that Xiaomi did in this multi-camera stack, and they just made it into an up and down thing. Now the newer cameras, they've come out with with a Xiaomi 11 and a 12. The 12T Pro that I saw, and the camera arrangement is completely different. It's a cluster. It's a square cluster, very much like the iPhone. When I first saw the iPhone, I didn't like it because I thought it stuck out, too far. It was too high. But as far as like the location of it, it's fine. These Xiaomi cameras are very low. They're not very high, or they're not very proud of the surface. And so like when I put that little plastic silicone case on it, they're the flush, so the cameras never get scratched. My Galaxy S7 Edge, 3 days after I bought it, the camera lens got scratched. It got scratched right on the outside of the iris, so it didn't make any difference. It was like, wow, it was so easy to scratch that camera. All right, tonight, just as a side note, drinking my usual soda water with rum. It's Taiwanese rum that I have infused with Sri Lankan cinnamon, and I found some at Jar Jar at the Asian store. I found some amazing, incredible Indonesian black tea with vanilla and no sugar and no artificial flavors, apparently. That, of course, is all dependent on how good my Indonesian skills are. And they're not real good, but I could read what they were saying. And so I put one of the tea bags in the rum. So it's rum, tea, vanilla, cinnamon. And it's nice. And so I've just got 1 cup here and just kind of nursing it through the show here. So it's really great to have all you with us tonight. Okay, thank you. I hope you do come back, and I'm looking forward to seeing the the review. The Smooth 4 is a lot cheaper. The prices of these things are coming down. This gimbal that I just bought, was like $100. It's excuse me, $120. It's ridiculous. I paid $300 for the Smooth 3. Smooth 3 is a nice rig, but that big motor sticks out. And so what you have to do, it's hard to describe, is you have to put it in you can't use it in follow mode. You have to put it in fixed mode, and then you have to bend the handle up like this so the motor goes down underneath. And then you're basically holding your selfie stick, or holding your gimbal out front like this, and the phone's like this, and you get a lot of bounce. You got to be careful. You got to walk, do the glide cam walk. I heard some people call it the ninja walk, but you got to walk like you're on ice, with your knees bent, to try to minimize the up and down. Because you see a lot of videos are really smooth and they're panning and stuff. The guy's walking, looks like this. And so you see me when I'm walking with my camera, I look like, I got my gimbal, especially with that black rib. I look like I look like an ATF agent the way I'm walking. I'm keeping everything, nice and straight. I'm looking around shooting like this. Like my gimbal, if you're like, my God, what are you going to do? Are you live streaming me, or are you going to kill me? So, anyway. Yeah, so that was all the news that I wanted to bring up today. I just wanted to go back one more time and show you today's report because it's been I got to tell you, the last 2 days have been very discouraging in a lot of ways because the numbers have been over 500. So this is the first day in several days that it's been under 500. And 335 isn't bad. But there is one area that's now become a new hotspot. South of where I live, the next county over is called Miaoli. And this whole thing broke out, quite frankly, we talked about this before, gangsters owning tea houses, which aren't tea houses, and immoral people going there doing things they shouldn't be doing and don't want to get caught by their spouses, so they don't cooperate with contact tracing. And it's like one of my friends said, it's always the night people. The night people go out and they do things that they're not supposed to do, and they get in trouble and they start spreading the disease. They don't want to tell anybody. Where were you? I don't know. Can tell us where you were. No, I don't want to, because they don't want their spouses to find out they've been doing some, hanky panky or whatever. This is how it always starts. This is how it happened in other places, right? But what's going now in Miaoli is some of our migrant workers got the disease. Now, Taiwan has basically 4 ethnicities that have migrant workers: Filipino, Vietnamese, Thai, and Indonesian. And so doesn't matter which group, it's just that in one area where they're doing the semiconductors down in Miaoli, and this is serious, people live in dorms. The factory workers live in dorms. It's kind of like living in, university or the army, except not as much discipline. Now, the thing is if we had a breakout in one of our universities, it would be just as bad. So the university shut down right away, and nobody outside the university is not allowed in. There's gates and everything. You come to the gate, you don't have a student ID, you ain't getting in, and you shouldn't. But with the factories, people got to live. They got to go out. They go to the store and buy stuff, and you got to go to restaurants or something and buy things to eat. But ultimately, they come back to the dorm and they socialize in the dorm, and there could be any number of people in the room. 2, 4, 6, 8, depends on the layout, how big the room is, depends on the country, on the company. And in the dorm, it's basically like an apartment complex. There's many rooms. So then there's ventilation issues between the rooms. So you can see that if one person gets infected, then that room is infected. And then with several people in one room who are infected and they're breathing, and then it gets into the ventilation system, and pretty soon you've got a breakout, get an outbreak. And what's happened in Miaoli is today, the new cases in Miaoli for the first time since this outbreak at beginning of May, in the middle of May, Miaoli today surpassed the number of cases in Taipei. And we're like, wow, because Taipei is a long ways away from where we live, but Miaoli is right down the street. Miaoli is like the next county down. I can be in Miaoli in 20 minutes in my car. Some of those folks down in Miaoli have friends in Hukou. It's just how it is. You work in these areas, these factories, you get to know people over the years, you make friends all over, you go see them. So a lot of these folks have these electric scooters, and they can just drive on the back roads. They don't have to drive on the highway, they just drive on the back roads. And then they'll go see their pals and infect them. So we found out a couple of days ago that right over here in a Thai place that you guys have seen me live stream from before, on the corners of 7-Eleven, where somebody with a confirmed case has been in the last week. And we've been there in the last week. So it's getting close. It's getting close. So far, my family shows no signs of any symptoms. I read that a husband, he makes sure every morning, uh, he actually does something very nice for his wife in order to make sure that she's not exhibiting COVID-19 symptoms, which one of the first symptoms is you lose your sense of smell. All of a sudden it's funny, like things either don't smell right, or you smell something like, the soap or shampoo in the shower, and it doesn't really have the smell that it's supposed to. So what he does every morning is, before they get out of bed, he breaks wind and he puts the covers over her head. Just as a test, okay? Just as a test. And if she starts yelling at him, then he knows she's okay. She's not infected. Now, I'm happy to say that as a concerned husband, I have also performed this test in my home for my wife. But I was only able to do it once, because thereafter I was on the sofa, so I could test myself. But I was no longer able to do the test with her. So, but I just want you to know that I was trying to do my best. George, fist bump. Thank you so much for joining. Sorry I missed your comment just for a second. Welcome back. Well, yeah, that's the thing, the asymptomatic things just really, really bother me. Wow. George, you're a fan. George is a fan. That's a song, man, from my catalog. If you go to my SoundCloud account, there's a song called I Don't Want to Say Goodnight. Hey, George, I never told you this, okay? But, there's two songs, Gotta Keep Dancing and I Don't Want to Say Goodnight. And when I recorded those songs, I put karaoke versions on my CD. I have some of the original CDs. I got them downstairs. I got like 50 of the original pressings from 1995. I'll give you one. I'll send you one. I'll tell you, when I send the mics back, I'll send you a CD, okay? And there are two karaoke versions on there. That's the exact same mix. All we did was we muted. We just killed the lead vocal. But, so you can sing that all you want, okay? So I'll do that for you, bro. Yeah, man. I'll put the CD in your, I'd sign it for you, but it's not worth anything. You can't get anything for it, okay? Everybody knows, you're more valuable when you're dead. So, yeah, I'll sign it for you, and then a couple years from now, you can sell it. It maybe get 100 NT. I don't know. But yeah, we were doing that back in the 90s. That was unusual in 1995 for someone to release a record, with a karaoke version on it like that. So, okay, 谢谢，再见，晚安. By the way, Feifei, she 她会说中文, so that's cool. Yeah, she's Feifei is, of course, her name is Jaspy. It's an interesting story that I told a long time ago, but I haven't told it in some time, so maybe I should just briefly mention it again. But Jaspy, I have no idea how you ran across me, but I remember that excuse me, I got a notification, so-and-so followed me. Says, okay, so I like to know who follows me, right? Because some people, I want to block them, Hey, Frank, how you doing? Oh, Frank is in Salem. Oh, in Winter Island. Oh, that's a beautiful place. Yeah. You guys know Frank. He's my old pal back from Lynn, Mass, right? And let me see what I got here. I think I got something for you, Frank. Here, hold on. Let me see. Yeah, I do. Frank is my old pal from way back, and I got to tell you, I don't know how far do we go back, Frank? Like, I don't know. How far back would you say? Like, I don't know. I got to do this. I'm gonna hang on. Probably something like 30 years, right? So I'm gonna do this, and I'll put this over here. Yeah, let me show this if you don't mind. Frank sent me a picture. He sent me a picture of what he looks like, and if you don't mind, I would like it if Frank doesn't mind. I will show you guys what he looks like. Yeah. So I have yeah, it's all set for the size and everything. Oh, I wasn't actually planning on doing that. Hang on a second. Wow, I have the window plugs out of the studio, so there's some noise coming in from somewhere. I don't know. But Frank is in Salem in Winter Island, so 3/4 of a century, 75 years old. Okay, so tell me, so how good does Frank look, man? 75 years old. Frank, I think you look great, man. You look very similar to when I knew you back in, like the 90s. Pretty amazing, actually. So yeah. And Frank is an avid camper. And he also showed me some pictures of his camping rig, so that was cool. Yeah, I like to show pictures, that people send me of what they're doing and how they're looking, and and because people like to know. Bernardo is quite an interesting guy. He was in earlier. He's probably lurking in the background. Bernardo's an interesting guy, and he's very talented when it comes to like audiovisual stuff. And he sometimes will take videos of mine, and he'll put himself in a video. He did one. Gosh, I don't know where that is. Like I gotta find that. He put himself in a video like beside me, at this place. It's really funny. But let me tell you, Frank. I'm only 10 years behind you. Okay, that's it. Only 10 years. So yeah. So I'm 3/4 of a century minus 10. But let me get back because I'm not done embarrassing Jaspy enough yet. Okay, I got to embarrass Jaspy. So I get this notification from Twitter, and I'm like, okay, so I see this lady calls herself Jaspy. I said, okay, and so I see her. She's in Australia, and I see her face, and she looks Asian. And so I happen to notice that it says following one. And she just followed me. So I went, and she's only following me. I'm like, what is going on? And I didn't think about it. I mean, I was like, oh, that's interesting. You want to do something else? I came back, I don't know, a week later, and I was like, oh, yeah, I want to see if that lady she new on Twitter. She got following more people. So I found out she was following 2 people. So she's following me on Taiwan Live TV, and then she was following my personal account. I have never been so flattered in my life. I was like, wow, man, there's somebody that, because there are some big stars that don't follow anybody, so yes, I was showing the food live. Yeah. And I used to do that a lot, and I really like doing that. That's kind of a hallmark of what I'm doing. Yeah. And so I don't know what it is. I don't think you were new on Twitter. I figured you probably just haven't followed that many people. I've been on Twitter for 13 years, and I still find it less than useful. I mean, it's nowadays it's so political. It used to be fun. Now it's just a link farm. It's people trying to prove things to other people. You're wrong because this link says so. And I just get sick and tired of these arguments that that people have. But yeah, we've always done food and food videos. Now, with our new situation here, I can't go to a restaurant and eat. All I can do is just do the takeout stuff, right? But nothing stops me from going through my vast archive of photos and posting about it. Now, Twitter for traffic updates. I think that's probably one of the only viable uses for Twitter, if you want to ask me. If you were to ask me honestly, that's what I would tell you. So I think all this time, I think my camera's been slightly, it's making me look like I'm cocked to the side here. Anyway, yeah. Oh, that's better. Yeah, nobody cares. Yeah. It's just like when I go to the barbershop, the lady says, "How'd you like your haircut?" I go, "I don't know. I don't have to look at it. I don't care. Just do what you want." So I take my glasses off to get my hair cut. And so she picks up the mirror and she holds it back behind me. I have my glasses on. I'm like, oh, okay, it looks good. I don't care. Yeah. Now I got my haircut last week, right? And my hair is just, it's strange. It goes from, it's like short, get it cut. You look terrible. I mean, it goes from zero to, I don't know what it is. My wife will look at me and go, "You need a haircut." I'm like, "It looked good yesterday, right?" "Yeah." Seriously. And so the other thing that's happening, I've been taking all these supplements and, I've had my age reversed and all this with technology and stuff. So it's really funny. Okay. Thanks, Jaspy. I think I embarrassed you sufficiently enough. Fist bump to you. Take care. Be good. And I'm looking forward to seeing that review. I've been taking all these supplements, for telomeres and age reversal and stuff. And I was combing my hair the other day, and I know you can't tell because it's still, well, I got wax in it, which kind of makes it separate. And it's a little thinner, obviously it used to be. Okay. Oh, you sent me more pics on, you mean on email? Okay, good. Good. Thanks. All right. Well, I'm going to download them and I'll show them again. So if you look at the top of my head, it's thinner than it was, but I got to tell you, and Frank, you got to back me up on this, bro. At 65, man, I can walk down the beach and go like, "Hey, man, okay, thanks." I mean, I got a lot of hair for a 65-year-old guy. But what my daughter noticed was she said, "Papa, you got all this black hair coming in." I'm like, "What?" And she says, right over here, there's some black coming in. And there's another spot, and I can't really find it on a camera. And I said, "Really?" And so I got my phone, and I'm, look like an idiot. Thank goodness I wasn't outside, like, near a monument or something, but I'm going like, trying to take pictures of my head. And I'm like, wow, there's black hair. I hadn't seen black hair for 30 some years, right? Because Frank, you remember me, right? In my 30s. See, I got my first gray hairs in high school. I was 12 years old. I'm not lying. I was 12 years old and I was sitting like this and I realized I had a whisker. My first whisker came out. I was like, "Oh, this is cool." I ran into the bathroom. It was white. My first whisker was white. If I grow my beard now, it's gray, but it has black patches in it. But I don't shave every day because I don't have to. I don't go to an office or anything, right? I shave a couple times a week because it's rough on the face. If I don't have to shave, I don't. But what I notice is when I get ready to shave, I've been looking and I got a lot more black whiskers than I used to have. It used to be all white and now a lot of it's black. So it really is true that if you can reverse the telomeres, if you can add, supplements that increase telomerase and lengthen your telomeres, your biological age does lower. And I'm taking supplements like PQQ and ubiquinol and things that give me tremendous amounts of energy, for my age. So and also I take a lot of cognitive, I can't even say it, that's how well they work, cognitive type supplements that help, with brain function and things. And it has tremendously helped my memory and my ability to, correlate data and see all kinds of, of things with, connections and so forth. The curious case of MJ Klein. Yes, absolutely right. This is weird. Jay Boy, now you've known me for a long time, right, man? And you know that I'm a straight shooting guy, and you know that I don't mind talking about personal things, if it helps people and stuff, But seriously, because you guys were with me. You remember in 2018, if you go back in time on live TV, all the way back to 2018, just look through my videos. When I went to the United States for 4 days to Florida, to the Sears Institute, anti-aging, they gave me $3,000 US, worth of, worth of tests. Yes, that's exactly right. My wedding pics do show me with dark brown hair and a beard. And you're absolutely right, Frank. That's Frank, by the way. He's using his wife's account, but that's okay. The reason I did that, Frank, was for face. The Asian concept of face. You see, I'm going to be honest with you. Let me take a hit. My wife and I met and we fell in love, and we have a very wonderful, beautiful relationship. But, okay. Sorry about that. You know what, Jay Boy, let me stop for a second. You'll notice on the stream, nothing's burning. I don't know why, but I have 2 versions of the chat widget and nothing's burning. And then you're telling me, I think there's a problem with the YouTube API. I might have to just reconnect to the API. I think what's going to happen is before I go live again with Prism Live Studio from the studio, I think I'm just going to reconnect the account and see if that works, because it crashed last time. George came in and some others, and George and Patty and some others, actually on my last live stream in the description, I apologize to those people, the friends of mine that comment, and I didn't see them. But getting back to what I was saying, my wife and I fell in love and so forth, but I'm 16 years older than she is. That's not why she likes me, and that's not why I like her. I like her because she's honest, and she's integral, and she is a very high quality person. That's why I married her. Well, I married her because I can't live without her. That's the real reason. But it had nothing to do with age. And so when she introduced me to her family, I was 51 years old. Okay, so do the math. My wife's 16 years younger than me. So here I am. When I got married, I was 51 years old. So if you can imagine, the year before, she's introducing me to her parents. I'm going to tell you flat out, and I said this in the video I did, her mom's 9 years older than me. I could be your mom's younger brother. I could be my wife's uncle by the age, but I'm not. I'm her husband. And so it really says a lot about the kind of people that her parents are, that they accepted me into the family. And they do. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I love them more than my natural family. Okay? On my parents' side, okay? But what I'm saying is this. I dyed my hair to look my best, and to look like I was at least in the same ballpark and the same universe as the woman that my parents, that my wife's parents, were giving to me so that, it kind of looked like it was plausible. But as I was saying before with Frank, even when Frank has known me, like when I was in my 30s, my hair was half gray then. In high school, I was gray, salt and pepper. That was, I mean, I got to tell you, I got a lot of dates. Chicks thought it was cool, man. I think it's so cool that you got salt and pepper hair. And, in the corporate world, guys were paying a lot of money to have that look because it made them look more wise. It's like a sign of wisdom. So here I am, I'm like 28, 29, 30, and I got half gray hair. I put some horn rimmed glasses on, man, and it's like, wow, you must be from MIT or something, right? But it really works against you because all of a sudden you're 45 and you're white. And so I grew my hair really, really long, and I came to Taiwan. And I had my hair in a ponytail halfway down my back. And some woman in Kaohsiung was calling me. And if Fei, okay, Jaspi, or any of you Chinese speakers watch the replay later on, a woman came up to me behind me and she goes, "Hey, baby," which is kind of like saying old man or old uncle. It's something that you would say to like a retiree. And at that time, I was in my 50s, but I had almost completely silver hair. And I turned around and she was like horrified. "Oh, I can see that you're not baby, And so I've been called Santa Claus and all this other stuff. And it's one of the reasons I cut my beard off, I told you that story, the whole thing with Kenny Rogers and all that. I won't go into that again. But I dyed my hair because I wanted there to be a big contrast from then and now. So we've been married now for 14 years. So when I look at the wedding photos, it's not completely implausible. Like I could tell somebody, "Yeah, I dyed my hair for the wedding," and they would say, "Oh yeah, you must have been about 25% gray then." I'm not going to say anything. No, man, I was 100% gray then, but yeah, I went gray early. And the first whisker that I had, on my chin that came out, it was white. That was kind of strange. I was like, no. It's got to come in dark, man. People got to see it. So you know what I did? Now this is really strange, but this is what kids do, young men. So I'm like 14, right? And I'm starting to get some peach fuzz, right? Because it starts coming in as soon as you hit puberty. By the time I was 12 years old, I had a very prominent Adam's apple. My voice was low. It's happened like really quick. And so by 14, I was like really into, puberty. Oh yeah, man. Oh, my sisters too. Yeah. And my sister's been dyeing their hair since just right out of high school to get rid of that too. My brother John is blonde, and so his got to be careful how you use this term. His transition into being gray hair was very not as dramatic because he was always light haired, But both of my sisters are they're as gray as I am, but they dye their hair. And I have two younger sisters, so my older younger sister dyes her hair a lot closer to original, but with more red. The other thing too is my hair was dark brown, but it did have some red highlights in it. Well, I got to find some pictures because my hair at that time, when it grew long, because I was a stage musician, it would grow long and turn into banana curls by itself when it was really long. So it kind of looked like Howard Stern a little bit with those natural curls, but just more like Brian May, I guess, kind of like that. I think I have some pictures I could show you. Kind of like a cross between Brian May and Howard Stern. So anyway, so my sisters have been dyeing their hair for a long time. My other sister dyes her hair kind of like I guess they call it a frosted thing. I don't see much of that in Asia. See, Asian women have trouble dyeing their hair because their hair is black. And you can't go like directly from black to like blonde. It goes to orange, so it's hard. So always work in shades of red and brown that don't stray too far away from the center line of black. It's hard. And my wife does her hair with a nice dark brown. And I think it looks nice. I think it looks really nice. She got her hair cut about 3 weeks ago, and I think she looks just wonderful like that. And she has grown it really long. And my wife's hair is interesting because most Asian people's hair is pretty straight, but hers is actually quite curly. There are some of those genes, amongst the people in Asia. And if she grows her hair long, it naturally kind of gets curly in the back. So what she'll do is she'll add a curl to it to the top just to make it even and stuff. And so we went to the States in 2008. And I got some pictures of her with her hair about halfway down her back with that kind of curl, man. And I just think, I told her, I said, man, I think you look really hot. That, but she looks hot to me, man, with a towel on her head and, cold cream on her face. I don't care what she looks like. It's all the same to me. So, but yeah, it's a good thing she doesn't watch my streams. She'll kill me. But I never say anything disrespectful. I just say what I mean. It's like, she does it for me. So what can I say? I think every husband, should feel that way about his wife. I told her one day, I said, look, man, I don't care how old you get. I'm not going anywhere, man. So, to be perfectly honest with you, I can't really tell the difference. I met her when she was 32. She's almost 50, so I can't. It looks the same to me. I can't even tell the difference. I mean, really. So, but that's another thing, though, too, about being an older man, because I'm going to tell you right now. You guys have been watching me, 5 or 6 years? Do I look that much different? I mean, you see me put on some weight and lose weight. I mean, I get a little bit thinner in my face, a little, and sometimes I have a tan. Sometimes I'll be more pale, like right now I'm a little heavier. So I got a little bit more around here, but a couple weeks from now, Asian women do. Yeah. And, you're from India, and a lot of Indian women age gracefully too. But, I got to tell you something. To a husband, his wife always ages gracefully. To a real husband, to a real man, is dedicated, committed to his wife, till death do us part. They always age great, man. But I've heard, women complain that men get more character and they look better and stuff. I've never felt that way about myself. I think I look better in my 20s and 30s. I don't think I have the Sean Connery effect. Looking at me, I don't think anybody's I'm not going to be, in the top, 1 billion world sexiest men. Okay. I'm just, and I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that because I can sing. Yeah. But it's an interesting conversation. I always like having these conversations, especially when I can have a pretty real-time interaction, with the comments. Because you never know where these things are going to go. You know what I mean? So, J-Boy, I want to ask you something. Actually, what I want to do, J-Boy, I want to give you a personal invite, please, to join the livestreaming.technology forums because you know a lot about what's going on. Let me just say this, man. You're an Indian. Do I need to say more? We could use you in the forum. We could use your comments. We could use your insights. And recently, I reconnected with an Indian friend of mine in the States. His name is Mitesh Damania. This has got to be the strangest story. All right, I'll tell you what. Let's just go down a completely different road now. Okay, we're going to talk about something else, completely different. Everything we talk about now about, aging and hair and all this other stuff. So an Indian who never grew up in India. Well, okay. But you have ties. I know you do. So I know what's going on, and you have family there and stuff. I know what you mean. But about 10 or 11 years ago, I got this weird message from a guy called Mitesh. Domania. And I mean, it wasn't threatening. It wasn't, like, it wasn't untoward, or it wasn't, filthy or anything like that. Just like weird. And so I responded to it. Because, call me James Beach if you want, but I have an email address. Okay. My private email address is mjklein@gmail.com. I don't care if you guys know that. But do you know how many people think that's their email address? I mean, every week I get something from like neighbors.com or like, somebody will book a ticket. And they use my email address. I get, I've got death certificates. I got some legal papers served and all kinds of other stuff, and I have to delete this immediately. So I am not responsible for it. And I have to write back and say, no, you got the wrong person /email. And so I get this kind of stuff all the time. And actually, if you want, do me a favor. Anybody who's listening to me, if you want, send me an email at mjklein, mjklein @gmail.com, and just say, add me. Just say, add me. What I will do is I will add you to the blind carbon copy of all the stupid replies that I give to people that send me emails that aren't for me. Yeah. Okay, J-Boy, let me tell you this. I have gotten at least, I'm going to say 20 follow-up emails like this. It's always the same. Dear Matthew, dear Mark, dear Mary, dear Michael. Anybody with the letter M, right? Because it's M.J. Klein, right? And their last name's Klein, okay? Mary, it was so nice meeting you today and having a chance to interview you for the position of blah, blah, blah. We'd like some additional follow-up information or blah, 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 like this, right? So these come into my mailbox. And I'm like, you're going to get it now. Then you hear, Dear Miss So-and-so, Mary gave you the wrong email address. Apparently, Mary doesn't know her own email address. And since you're considering her for an engineering position in your research and development lab, you may want to reconsider that choice. Sincerely, MJ Klein, Hsinchu, Taiwan. I have sent hundreds of those emails of similar type. And I'm telling you, so you guys send me this, okay? I'll add you to this mailing list. And any of these weird things that come in, and I have and I do a response, I'll just copy you on it, okay? It's blind. Nobody will ever know it. And you can brighten up your day, right? It's like joke of the day, only it's not a joke. It's real. So sometimes, right, I end up like with long-term exchanges with people. Like, dear so-and-so, I'm really sorry your friend died. You sent him this message, about the funeral. He's not going to get it because it sent it to the wrong person. I'm really sorry about that. If you want to talk, I'm an older gentleman, and you can talk to me like an uncle or something if you want to. I mean, I say stuff like this to people, and they send me things back like, "Wow, I really appreciate that." And sometimes I'll say things like, so you got the wrong email, but I noticed that you're doing some pretty cool stuff. What are you doing there? I see you're working with semiconductors and this and that and other thing. And then they'll come back and say, oh yeah, we're doing this and doing that. And so there'll be like a 5, 10, 15 email exchange, and then that runs its course. But I met some like pretty amazing people. So when Domania, right, came to me, oh no. Oh, that's terrible though. I had a kid that used to work for me. I used to, on my radio show back in Lynn, Modem Media, I had a kid that I used to pay to call bulletin boards and do a report for me. He would call me back up. He would call me on the show. I'd send him so much money every week, and he would spend it on long distance calls all over the United States, calling bulletin boards and doing reviews of them, right? And then he would call me on the station, on the radio station live on the air, and I would come on and we would talk, about these bulletin boards, right? And so some reason I misplaced his number. So I looked him up in the phone book and I called him up, and a woman answered. I didn't recognize her voice. Hi, is Jim there? Is Jim there? She goes, now Jim passed away. I said, what? Why are you playing around with me? Why are you fooling around with me? She was angry. Excuse me, ma'am. I'm a talk show host. I'm MJ Klein, and he's a young man that's been working for me. Are you sure it's him? And she says, no, my husband's. And I said, oh. So I told her, I said, there's no way that I would ever make a crank call like that on somebody that lost their husband. And so I felt really bad, but these kind of things happen, but I digress. So Mitesh is, and he's probably going to watch this later. He would just say these off the wall things, but let me tell you something, man. Over the years, he's been telling me like his aunts, because he never married. I guess he's probably about 40 now, but the guy is not dumb. He's just weird, but that's okay. But he's not dumb. He knows how to make money because he's invested in a lot of these investment properties in the Midwest. He's making rent money, man. And at one time he told me, he says, yeah, I got a line on this hotel outside of Vegas. And he showed me pictures of it. He wasn't like pulling my leg. He's showing me pictures of it. He says, I got to run, all new cable and stuff, and RJ 1114 cable and stuff for the phones and stuff. But I can fix this up and I can make this motel work and stuff. And I'm like, man, it's a lot of work. Sure, you want to do that? Of course, I was older than him. He said, yeah. And we went through all this stuff. And so over the last 12 years, he used to be a pretty regular commenter on my blog. And he just like went dark one day and I hadn't heard from him. So about 2 weeks ago, I said, I wonder what the heck Mitesh is up to. And I sent him a message, and he joined the forum. I told him that I was doing live streaming, which I don't think he knew. He had commented on some of the live streams that I had done after they were, live streamed. So he just wasn't like into watching me live, but he would go back and comment some of the replays. So he commented on a recent replay, and you may have seen it. He commented on one of my shorts, my short videos. And so we kind of got into a discussion. It wasn't an argument. I like the guy. I'm not arguing with him, but we were going back and forth about this and that and the other thing. And I said, let's just take it to the forum, because he was starting to talk about, COVID-19 is 99.9999% survivable. Why are they pushing the vaccine? And I'm thinking to myself, okay, my YouTube channel is going to get canceled over these comments. So that's why. So let's just take it to the forum. So he signed up for the forum, and apparently over the next couple of days, he's gonna copy those messages that he put on YouTube over into a post that corresponds, with that video. Okay, because on live streaming technology, there is a Taiwan Live TV forum, and every time I do a YouTube video, there is a post that shows up that has the video in it, and you can go in there if you want to make comments. It's really great because you can keep it off the YouTube platform if you want to, and it's also great because I'm not streaming right now to Twitter, but with Twitter Live, it's almost impossible to find the video and have a discussion on it, because it's just lost in the ether. There's just you have to like follow one or two or just a couple people or your timeline gets overrun. It gets overrun anyway with all these suggestions and all these ads and stuff that you don't want. So that's why one of the reasons I formed the livestreaming.technology forums was to be able to have a place that, wasn't full of the noise. And you can individually subscribe to the different forums. What you do is when you're on the page for the forum, if you scroll all the way down, you'll see a little checkbox on the lower left, and you can uncheck it if you don't want to follow that. So, but yeah. Now, when we were little kids, so. Yeah, right. Mm. Yeah, I understand. Yep. You don't know. Yep. Don't know. Right. Well, Jay boy, to me, right? I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anything you said that's disrespectful. So I wouldn't expect that from you anyway. And I know, you're an Indian person, Indian heritage, raised in America, but you're still Indian, and Indian people have a tradition where you have to be polite, especially to guests. So I've never met an Indian person who wasn't polite. So that's just how it is. Because your mom's gonna go, Jay boy, can I see you? From Jacob, can I see you in the other room? And she's gonna go, you don't talk to the guests like that. So yeah, I understand. Yeah, I don't think it's in your nature to be disrespectful. So, but anyway, I'm not a big self promoter. I've got the Asian Castings Consortium and all these other things that I could be promoting on my show, but I just really don't do that much of it. We're doing okay and stuff, but one of the things I do want to say that in my profile on the live streaming technology, right? Oh, really? You mean people that you personally know? Oh boy, that's bad. But I have a link that says every possible way to contact me, and so yeah, you can find me. And one thing that my company can help people do is break free from the regime. Just use your own discretion. But if you've been outsourcing your products overseas to an Asian country that you would rather decouple from, give me a call. We can bring that stuff over to Taiwan. That's too bad. That's too bad. I personally only know one person, someone that I have not seen since probably 1989, but I heard died from COVID. Fortunately, I haven't really been affected, and because my business hasn't been affected, I know there's thousands and thousands of dollars worth of relief, that's available from the U.S. government, but I haven't put in for it. I haven't received any COVID-19 payments, and I'm not going to put in for it. Just not going to do it. I don't think it's right because I'm not affected by it. I think it's, in my opinion, it would just be greedy. Now, that being said, if the U.S. government did something really stupid to me and tried to attack me for some reason or did something weird, then I would take them for everything I could get. But so far, they left me alone for the last 17 years, and it's fine with me. I got myself down to the point where I only have to interact with the federal government of the United States every 5 years, which happens to be how long my daughter's passport lasts before it needs to be renewed. That is bad because of the isolation. Now, my mother is still alive. She's 93, and she's in a basically a nursing home. It's an assisted living. She's in a nursing home. And she has dementia, which is kind of natural at her age because she has like terrible medical problems. She never took care of herself. She was an alcoholic and a drug addict. I mean, for crying out loud. So my sister will, see her, and the nursing home has this big, beautiful glass window outside, and she'll walk up to the window, and they give her like a, telephone, and and my mom's talking on the telephone. That was a Freudian slip, huh? And my mom's talking on the telephone to my sister outside, and my mom's saying stuff like, of course, this is my sister relating this. My mom's saying stuff like, "Why can't you come in?" Well, Mom, there's a pandemic, and she doesn't really get it, doesn't really understand why can't you come in and stuff, and she doesn't really understand, and she has no concept of time. So that's at least the one good thing about it. So yeah, kind of. But the bad part about it is because it's closed, if one person gets it, then they're all dead, and they all have comorbidities. If they got any heart disease, if they got any, arterial sclerosis, if they got diabetes, they got kidney, liver problems, even a UTI, and if they're not giving them, if they're not giving them Ivor, then they're kind of doomed. But they need to give them Mectin, and that will help them. But as far as I know, where my mother is, they're not giving it to them. You notice how I had to do that, right? And you know why I had to do that. People think it's crazy. But I want to show you something. And I'm not going to say a word. I'm just going to show this to you. And I'm going to leave this up here. Because I don't think that if I say anything, or it's in the title, that anybody will be able to pick up on this. But if this is the last thing that I leave with you, I think you can figure out what this is. And if somebody else says it in the comments, I think it's okay. You know what this is, right, J-Boy? This is a kind of medicine that's being used in India, Peru, South Africa, and many other nations. And it's interesting because on the far left, there's a column that says an improvement. And if you look at 3 rows down and it says prophylaxis, it does. Prophylaxis, it shows a 75 to 91% improvement. So the average would be 85%. But I want you to look at one down from that. Mortality, 53 to 81%. That depends, of course, on the studies. But there's 22 studies, 205 authors, and 7,690 patients. Now, that's not a tremendous amount, but of that group, the average improvement is 70%. So the only question that I have is, Wisama, which means why? Hard to read, huh? Really? Well, let me see what I can do here. What I can do, maybe I can just, that's not what I want to do. Maybe I can just do this. I'm just going to focus in on this part of the chart. You can read that, right? Okay. This is what I want to talk about. The FLCCC and others are telling people, they're reporting that this wonder drug is bringing back people from the brink of death. The mortality improvement is 70%. So why on earth would you not give it to somebody? Why would you not? I read earlier this week that a family actually had to go to court because their mother was on this medication. The medication is listed. It's the last column at the very bottom on the left. The word that begins with I. I'm not going to say it. That is the name of the medication. She was in the hospital and doing very, very badly. They convinced the son and the daughter-in-law convinced the doctor to give this medication. She immediately improved, so much to the point that she was transferred to another part of the hospital because she was no longer necessary for her to be in ICU. And when she got to the other part of the hospital, the new doctor refused to give the medication. And she had a relapse. So they went to court. At court, the doctor told the judge that the court should not be giving medical advice. And the court said, give her the medication, case closed. And now she's fine. So this is the other side of the chart. So if you find this, those are hot links. You can see the results for all studies, exclusion, mortality, ventilation, ICU administration, blah, 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 blah. Okay. But here is the final piece of information. I'm not going to mention it, but look in the lower right-hand corner and you will see an internet domain. I'm going to leave it there for a few minutes. You can draw your own conclusions. If you're in the United States, you can get that at Tractor Supply. It is a well-known animal medication. It's used for deworming dogs, for example. Now, I talked to a friend of mine in Taiwan who's from Peru, and he said that his family in the mountains take this medication that's made for parasites in cows, and they just take half the dose. It comes in a tube. They just pour it out. You know, they just squirt it on their finger like toothpaste, and they eat it. And in that part of Peru, they basically eliminated COVID-19. The results in South Africa, the results in Zimbabwe are astonishing. So this is something that is, you know, I'm not a conspiracy theorist because there's no theories. I know a lot about conspiracies. I know a lot about real conspiracies. They're not theories. You can't call me a conspiracy theorist. You can call me a conspiracy revealer if you want to, but I'm going to tell you something right now. When it comes out that millions of deaths may possibly have been avoided because of a medication that is so cheap, it's less than 1 US penny per dose for the prophylaxis. Well, hopefully some heads will roll. But the way things are, in this world, I don't think it'll happen. I am extremely cynical. I do not believe in, it's just how I am. And I grew up being as optimistic, about the future as any other person. I've just lived long enough to have enough bad stuff happen to me that I'm no longer optimistic. So that's how it works. Now, I have been yakking far too long. I know Dave in Osaka likes the longer broadcasts because he listens to me in as background while he's working. And I got to tell you, that's how I would listen to me too. I would listen to me in the background, not in the foreground. Dave knows I like to kid him. But I want to thank everyone for joining. It's been a fun broadcast. I was able to share some things with you about, the state of what's going on with COVID-19. So I welcome the replay viewers to go back and check it out at the beginning. And I showed what's going on, with our COVID-19 measures. And I also talked about, thanks, J-Boy. And I also talked about, I think a lot of people agree with me. I mean, I'm really not saying anything that's not anything more than common sense, It's nothing really controversial unless the powers that be don't like it. But all I got to say is I live in Taiwan. Try to serve me. Go ahead. Serve me papers in Taiwan. So, Bernardo, thanks. I knew you were still there. Thank you so much. But here's the thing. I was able to share some really cool stuff with you guys tonight. And in particular, I wanted to respond to that article written by Hiliton Yip, about Taiwan government overconfidence. It's really not the case. We're hamstrung here. Taiwan has no legal diplomatic relations with any of the Western democracies at all. And so Taiwan is ambiguous. The current state of Taiwan is ambiguous. That's how it was actually put into practice after World War II on purpose by the United States. So this is what you get. This is what we have. So when somebody says that, our current situation with our local outbreak is the result of the government being negligent or the government being overconfident, it's not the case at all. I showed you the numbers. I showed you the charts at the beginning. You can draw your own conclusions. But I appreciate you watching, and I appreciate you liking the video and following, and I appreciate, so I can see that several of you have already liked the video. Thank you so much for joining. And we're going to see you again on Thursday. And I'm still going to have this mic because I told George I'm not giving it back. I love this mic. It sounds great. This JTS mic, it sounds fantastic. And so, but they're going to get me a pink one, and I'm going to buy it because that was the rules. When I do these reviews, they don't give me the stuff. Because if they give it to me, then it's biased, right? Oh, you gave me the mic. I'm going to say everything beautiful about it. No, it's not how it works. So I'm going to have to give this one back to them, but I want to keep it until they give me the pink one that I want. I want the pink one, man. I just think it's so cool. So you guys take care. I really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging in there. And thanks for all your comments. And we'll see you next time on Taiwan Live TV. Thank you very much, J-Boy. I'm going to try to stay safe. Yep. And I'm still trying to figure out which vaccine that I want. So if you've got any information, I'm all ears. And you can find me on livestreaming.technology. Leave me a message. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.